Welcome to ETS Live. John and I are so glad you joined us today, and we're so excited to have David visiting with us down from Nashville.
Good to be back.
And David, would you mind opening up the webinar with some prayer today?
I'd be happy to, Bethany. John, God, we're so grateful for your mercy and your grace. And during this time where the Christian world is celebrating the period of Lent, we are grateful that you allow us to have opportunities to be renewed and strengthened and to be refreshed by your Spirit. We do pray for all of our travel advisors. We know that there are some who are going through medical issues and financial stresses and maybe even relational issues. And we pray for them that they will feel held and loved by you, and that we will all be effective in what you've asked for us to do, and working in the travel industry to be able to redeem our time for your glory. We pray that this is a wonderful webinar. We pray for the peace of Jerusalem and ask for everything that's going on in the world that you'll turn it around for good, and bless all of our travel advisors, Lord, and staff. In Jesus' name, amen.
Thank you so much, David. So before we start diving into our product today, I wanted to take just a few minutes to remind you of the great benefits you have working with us at ETS. First, you can become a faith-based travel specialist. We have a unique and specialized course that's about 4 hours, and it will guide you through the basics of who ETS is, how to sell faith-based travel. You'll also gain access to additional features like our exclusive Facebook group, where you have first dibs at new product information, exclusive fam tours, and shareable social media content.
Exactly, Bethany. Along with our certification, you'll receive customized marketing materials ranging from personalized web pages to brochures, flyers, and promotional videos. These resources will empower you to present faith-based travel in a way that resonates with pastors and ministry leaders. You'll be able to connect the Bible to travel, highlighting the significance of visiting the places where the Bible was written and where those stories took place.
Not to mention ETS advisors that you'll earn 15% commission and have a one free for every 11 paying passengers, tour coordinators, TCs, to start with on our ocean cruises and 20% on our river cruises. You can earn a living by offering travel opportunities to churches and ministries. You'll be part of helping and watching them grow spiritually.
Absolutely, and we touched on a little bit last time me and Bethany were here, but everything begins with a simple conversation with a potential group leader. Let it be a pastor, ministry leader, or a small group leader. Think of who you might know. You'd be surprised. Often pastors and clergy may not consider this kind of opportunity, but by sharing the potential with them, you could open the door to something that would be great for yourself and your community. And to help you start that conversation, let's take a look at our Bible Land cruises and how guests are written and how those journeys are written in the waves. Let's watch this quick promo video here.
And first in our lineup of exciting new cruises that we have for you in 2026, we've got a sailing on May 26, 2026. This is going to be a Paul's Journey cruise on board the Norwegian Viva. So starting at $5,498 per person with airfare from New York, your guests will get to enjoy an 11-day journey from Salerno to see ancient Pompeii. They can explore Catania in Sicily, see sights from the Crusades in Malta, see Mars Hill where Paul spoke to the Athenians, and walk through ancient Ephesus, one of the churches of the Revelation. They can also end their cruise in Istanbul, learning about the early church history there.
Absolutely, and next on that lineup, we have an incredible 13-day Journeys of Paul sailing on the Celebrity Ascent. This package starts at just $5,698 per person for an interior cabin. Other categories are available, and it also includes the international airfare from New York. On this amazing cruise, you'll visit stunning destinations like Chania, Santorini, Kusadasi, Istanbul, Rome, and so much more. It's an unforgettable journey you definitely won't want to miss.
I, first of all, want to say how exciting it is to have these A-class speakers join us on these voyages. We really thrive at putting together a holistic package. So when you're working with us, not only are you having these fabulous shore excursions led by very knowledgeable tour guides who are helping you illuminate the scriptures in these destinations, but back on the ship there are oftentimes a few sea days. And rather than just going and sitting by the pool, which you certainly can do, we've put in some optional lectures from world-class speakers who will be there to also illuminate the scriptures for you, not only on site, but ahead of time and after, so that it really solidifies in your guests' minds. So I'm so excited for our September 11th, 2026 cruise on the Journeys of Paul, and it's on the beautifully equipped Celebrity Equinox. Now it's 11 nights with sailing from Barcelona to Rome. Now this cruise starts at $49.98 per person with airfare from New York, so very attainable. We've included shore excursions in Valletta and Malta to see the stunning painting, The Beheading of St. John the Baptist. And I say stunning again because it is otherworldly in some ways, by Caravaggio in St. John's Cathedral. You'll also get to see Mars Hill and explore the Parthenon in Athens, walk through Ephesus and see that extraordinary facade of the library. It really should be one of the 7 wonders of the world. And we've included an overnight in Rome at the end of the cruise, so you have a chance to visit the Colosseum, the Parthenon, the Forum, St. Paul's Basilica outside the walls where Paul is buried. And we're also going to be offering 3 11-night sailings on board the Celebrity Infinity. And if you've never traveled with Celebrity, they do it up right. John, why don't you tell us about this?
Absolutely. Thank you, David. First up of our sailings on the Celebrity Infinity, we have our February 15th departure date. We also have a March 8th departure date. And then we also have the October 22nd departure date. So we'll go over first the February departure date on the 15th there. This cruise starts at just $4,598 per person. Again, that's including the international airfare from New York. And then, of course, next up on that list was the March 8th departure I was talking about. Again, that's starting at just $4,598 per person for an interior cabin. And that also includes the airfare from the New York area. Last up, as I mentioned, we have our October 22nd departure date, and that one is starting at $4,998 per person. All 3 of these are great options for your clients to follow along Paul's journey in the luxury and convenience of a Celebrity ship. Before we go over more of these options, Bethany, do you mind sharing a little bit more about what makes Celebrity such an awesome option for 2026?
Yeah, definitely. Celebrity is one of my personal favorite cruises. They have a more kind of upscale resort casual environment like you would think of in a country club. You know, there's no crazy dress up events. Everybody's very casual and relaxed, and they're truly on vacation. They have a good themed atmosphere. You know, there's no crazy loud music. Everything's very relaxed. You can sit up on deck and enjoy a good book. And they have absolutely impeccable service, multiple specialty dining options, and they have some of the nicest spa facilities, thermal suites, the whole 9 yards. So I can't speak highly enough. Like personally, I really love Celebrity if I'm booking a cruise for myself. So after that, we have 10 night sailings on the Celebrity Infinity coming up in February and September of 2026. On the February 26th sailing on the Celebrity Infinity, we have super special pricing, the best deal we have all year for the Mediterranean. It starts at $4,498 per person with the air from New York. And our sailing on September 26th is going to start at $4,998 per person with the air from New York. So on these sailings, they have pretty much the same itinerary. You'll get to enjoy learning about the Knights of St. John as you explore the old town of Rhodes. You're also going to get to visit Ephesus, of course, and walk the ancient streets that Paul and John would have walked when visiting. You're going to visit Kavala, which is one of my favorite places, and travel to Philippi. So here you'll get to see the spring of Lydia. So this is where Paul baptized Lydia, the first Christian convert in Europe. You're also going to see ancient Thessaloniki as well as modern Thessaloniki and get to stroll through the beautiful Basilica of St. Demetrios. So this was dedicated to a distinguished Roman proconsul that was martyred for his Christian faith. You're going to finish up your cruise in Athens and get the chance to visit Corinth as well, to walk through the archaeological site and see the bema where Paul addressed the Corinthians. And remember, we also have our newest options we talked about last week on Oceania and on Azamara. We shared about these amazing luxury small cruise options. To learn more about these, you can go back and watch our past webinars, including last week's, where we covered everything about small ship cruising, as well as all of our awesome river cruises we have coming up for 2026. So go visit Advisor's Corner and you can check those out. You can also grab our new videos for river cruises and small ship cruising from our Facebook page, and you are more than welcome to share those on social media to help you sell these products.
And before we go on, Bethany, I know that there may be some concerns about the weather in February because that is such an amazing deal. But what are the downsides or positives of going in late February into early March on the Mediterranean?
Definitely, like the late February, early March, you can have a little bit of rain, but it's not typical to rain every day, and the weather is going to be cooler. I'm born and raised in Florida. I'm a little bit of a wimp, so the weather will be in the low 60s, upper 50s. So I would be very cold. But if you're from, say, the Midwest or up north and you had sub-zero weather and snow, it's going to feel really nice to be in the Mediterranean with that kind of weather. So.
Yeah, and honestly, to be able to go to these sites when they're not crammed.
Oh no, they're very uncrowded.
Yeah, so I was thinking that might actually be a wonderful opportunity, and it's not too late to get started on February 2026.
Yeah, now's the perfect time. You're 11 months out, so you have plenty of time to recruit.
We have one more opportunity your guests might be interested in looking at. And let's look at the sailing with Shonda Pierce and Al Denson. That one, Shonda is the comedy's queen of clean, is how she's known. And who doesn't like to laugh? But being able to couple going to these iconic destinations that are so special and then being able to just let go and laugh, you're really, truly going to feel like you're on vacation. There will also be music on board from award-winning musician Al Denson. And Al's been inducted into the Christian Music Hall of Fame, and he's won a Dove Award. Being from Nashville, that's a big deal. Having sailed on a cruise with Al Denson before, for any of you that have done that, his music is soulful and fun, and this cruise is not going to be missed. John, what makes Mediterranean cruising such a great way to fellowship with other like-minded people as you sail and visit these unique ports of call?
Absolutely. So, faith-based cruise brings together like-minded individuals who share similar beliefs and values. This creates a sense of camaraderie and community, allowing you to bond over shared experiences, prayers, and reflections. On board, you'll often have organized worship services, Bible studies, prayer groups, and multiple fellowship opportunities. These shared moments of faith can strengthen your connection with others and provide an enriching spiritual experience during the cruise. These cruises also provide ample opportunities for quiet time and reflection and personal spiritual growth. Whether you're spending time on deck or exploring the peaceful surroundings of a remote Mediterranean island, these moments can foster a deeper connection with your faith. The shared experiences of exploring these ancient cities and sacred sites with fellow travelers helps form meaningful bonds. These friendships are often built in shared values and beliefs, offering opportunities for continued fellowship beyond the cruise and lifelong friendships.
Now, a Mediterranean cruise offers a unique way to explore the lands of the Bible and follow Apostle Paul's missionary journeys, which almost entirely were by sea, and learning about the early stages of the followers of the way, early Christianity. The cruises typically visit important sites. Almost all of them have time in Ephesus and Corinth, and many of them in Athens, of course. Many of them also go to Rome, where Paul spread Christianity, providing a deeper understanding of his life and teaching. And a few of our cruises also go up into the northern end to Thessaloniki, and Kavala as well. Now, you'll visit well-preserved ruins in ancient cities connected to early Christianity, such as Ephesus, Corinth, Patmos, and engaging with the Bible yourself. And yes, I do recommend, for the extra half of a pound that it is, bringing a paper Bible. There's nothing like bringing a Bible highlighter and maybe grabbing a leaf, if it's not illegal, and taping it in there. And I still have olive leaves in my Bible from the Holy Land, or in one of my Bibles. I have a few of those. And another fun fact is you'll have a chance when you go to Rome to visit catacombs. And it might seem a little spooky to walk through open air graves, basically, but they're 2,000 years old. And funny story, I'm 6'1", which is taller than most Italians. So I was going through the catacombs, and I actually found a human bone that was on the top shelf that shouldn't have been there. So we're literally walking through history, guys, and this isn't made up. This is real history, real Christians, real people who you probably, if you spoke their language, could have been able to have dinner with and had a great time. But we are learning about this, and you'll never be the same. So we want you to bite to drink the Kool-Aid, bite the bug, or get the bug, or whatever you say. We want you to get excited about this for people. And we want this to not just be for people who are retirees. A lot of times we're thinking, who has time and money? Yes, it's retirees. But the other group of people who have time, young people. Think about the summer. Think about a new graduate. So many of your clients actually have grandkids or maybe a niece and nephew that they would love to invest in and have the opportunity to enrich their lives and their spiritual journeys, and think about the ripple effect. So encourage them to not only bring themselves, but to bring some younger people that they really care about. Now, with cultural immersion, you're going to explore cultures, local cultures, and cuisine. And yes, that means Italian food or Greek food. And I normally gain a couple of pounds when I travel, but you're walking so much that by the time you get home, it's gone. But here's the thing. The cultures there are so warm, the Mediterranean cultures, that you're going to wish that you could move there. They're just welcoming and fun, and you're going to get a well-rounded experience. You're not just going to old ruins. You're also seeing the living descendants of these people and these people groups that were in the Bible. As far as comfort and convenience, of course, there are changes, and many people who have never traveled overseas before have a little bit of culture shock and whatnot. But with multiple stops and no need for constant travel, a cruise offers a really comfortable way to visit these iconic destinations. It's a little less intimidating, frankly, to know that you can unpack once you arrive, and you're staying in the same room, and you have your little corner, your little den to go back to. And because these are biblical tours, we have procured some of the best guides in the region. Our faith-based cruises offered expert-led tours that highlight significant biblical moments and provide that deeper insight into the spread of Christianity. Bethany, you were just talking about Lydia, and I think a lot of people, when they think about the Bible, especially the New Testament, they might think of Mary as a significant woman, but maybe they don't realize how many significant women contributed to the growth of Christianity, and that opportunity is incredible to go and see that in person. Now, I know I'm talking a lot, and I wanted to give them the chance to talk, and I want you to have the opportunity to ask some questions. So make sure to drop those in. But visiting these sites needs to be on your bucket list and everybody you know's bucket list, offering a meaningful opportunity to have reflection and spiritual connection. So I know that sounds a little bit salesy, but I'm just excited about it. I can't help it. Being able to provide this for people is truly a dream come true, and we're glad that you get to partner with us. So let's make this unforgettable for them, and working with ETS takes the guesswork out for you. For those of you who have done it, feel free to drop testimonials in the chat. It really, you don't have to piecemeal this. This is all inclusive, maybe minus a lunch or two. And it's a phenomenal experience for people. And we do have some questions, a lot of questions, so I'll go through those in a little bit too. But don't take it from us. Let's hear from some of the guests.
Hi, I'm Cecilia Rabel.
Pastor Jared Rabel from Waxahachie, Texas, Christ Lutheran Church, journeying on the steps of St. Paul. It's always been kind of an interesting thing to walk the steps of Christ in Jerusalem, walk the steps of Moses as well in Sinai, but now walking the steps of Paul and just getting in touch with the past history and archaeology of getting there, saying that you are there. And it's such a great experience where it makes the Bible come alive for you in the present day situation. Highly recommend it if you can do it, get it done.
Same thing as him. love all the convenience actually of having travels with a group and everything's taken care of. And all we have to do is get ready and be there. The guides have been wonderful. There's so much to learn and try to, just enjoy.
Hi, I'm Reverend Steve Hamrick from West Virginia, and just want to tell you that this is an amazing place, great trip, the Journeys of Paul cruise. Walking in Paul's footsteps, it makes the Bible come alive. You read it in 3D. My group has been great. They won't know when the next trip is. Everybody's just been very excited. It's been a great trip.
All right, everyone. I sure hope you enjoyed those testimonials. And thank you, David, for so enthusiastically really expressing why we all here love so much faith-based travel and how very special and meaningful it is. But luxury and spiritual growth don't always have to be at sea. It can be on land too. So we have a brand new trailer for you as well.
What an excellent quick video that was. And of course, next we have the ever so popular Journeys of Paul in Greece land tour. This is an 8-day tour. It's a journey taking you through the highlights of Paul's time in Greece. You'll visit breathtaking places like Philippi, Thessaloniki, Delphi, Athens, and so much more. This tour is starting at just $3,798 per person from New York. We also have multiple departure dates available as well. Also, don't forget we offer a fantastic Greek Isles cruise extension where you'll visit Ephesus, Patmos, Crete, and Santorini, and much, much more. We saw it last year. This tour is very, very popular and it books up quite fast. Right now is the time, if your clients are interested in this tour, especially if they're interested in the cruise part at the end, the Greek Isles cruise extension. Right now is the time to book because we saw it last year, this year, and even for 26, space is getting limited, so make those moves now.
And for anybody this year, like we're sold out of cruise space for the May departure. It's almost gone for the June departure. It's getting slim for the September departure, and it's totally gone for October. So if your clients are interested in the Greek Isle cruise extension, they need to book sooner rather than later.
Absolutely. And could you expand, Bethany, on what you think makes a land tour to Greece so special for people?
Now, I love cruising, but you get so much more time when you do it via land because, you know, the ship's sailing at night versus when you're on land, you can go out on the town, you can go and explore, you get to get more in depth with the local culture. And there's places that are farther inland that you just can't get to from a cruise port.
Right. That's a
So,
good
you know, it's amazing if you have the opportunity to do the land tour and get to places that are further inland, like Meteora, which is absolutely just stunningly beautiful. It's crazy how these huge mountains were built up, and that people were able to build monasteries and they still live there and worship there on top of these mountains, and just some gorgeous, gorgeous scenery.
Absolutely, absolutely. And then also, too, we have our Journeys of Paul in Turkey. And David, from your experience, what do you think sets Turkey apart from Greece biblically? And why is it so important for Christians to travel there, in your opinion?
Well, first of all, John, I've been to Turkey several times, just even on my own. So I know we have questions about solo travel, and Turkey is, just from a cultural standpoint and a geographical standpoint, it's sort of like, it's a melting pot, but it's kind of a confluence of East meets West. So you've got, if you look at the design of the country, half of it is in Europe and half of it's in Asia. Right. And so when you hear about Asia Minor, when you're using Bibleese, let's say, we're really talking about that Anatolia section, that area that's touching Asia, but it's really jolting into Europe. So the people are very Mediterranean, and if you go back, most of them are Muslim now, but there is a significant Greek Orthodox community there. But if you go back 1,000 years, they were Christian, and going back 2,000 years, it was the start of the early church, much of which took place in that Asia Minor region in Turkey today. So when people think of Istanbul, they may think of a giant airport, they may think of doner kebabs, but there's so much more to it than that. And yes, you can see the Hagia Sophia, which is still to date the largest church ever built. I think it even surpasses some of those mega churches in America. But it is now a museum. And then, of course, you'll have a chance to visit other non-Christian historical sites, like maybe Topkapi Palace or the Bazaar, the Grand Bazaar. But having a chance to dive in to the 7 churches and seeing the 7 churches of the Revelation and learning about how those are significant even today for future biblical prophecy. Many people interpret that to meaning that that's for the future. And then when you go back to church history, there are very significant people from the Bible who lived an amazing amount of time in Ephesus and in those other cities. So you will love your time in Turkey. And then, of course, for those that decide to do the extended program, there are some iconic things like taking a hot air balloon ride over Cappadocia and whatnot. You will not go wrong doing either the Greece and Turkey program or just one of our 7 churches or the Turkish program. Now, if you are going to do one of the Turkey-only programs, there's an option on several of the dates to visit the Isle of Patmos, and that is by cruise. And so make sure to talk with your BDM about what's going to work best for the church group that you're talking about or the travelers that you're talking about. And one other thing I would say is I want to go back to Greece for just a second. That price point is almost unheard of because this is inclusive of airfare. So if you have a church that you're working with that's maybe a little bit concerned about price being an obstacle for a lot of their people, this is where you start. The reason why I say that is because either a Holy Land or the basic Journeys of Paul in Greece will give them an opportunity to be accessible to everyone, but then you have the extendability option with the Isle cruise. And many people, you'll be surprised, think they can't afford it, but then when they see that they get to visit those places in Santorini and Mykonos and all the rest, somehow the Lord provides. And so don't sell based on cost. We really want you to approach this as this is a once in a lifetime or maybe twice in a lifetime opportunity that you get to facilitate for these people. So stay off price, stay on value. But yes, we offer some of the best value in the whole industry. And I just rambled so much that our teleprompter is probably out of place now. I'm sorry, but talking about the 7 churches, is that where we were at?
Thank you, Davey. No, we appreciate your enthusiasm, of course, on this. And then we just want to go into some product that we have back on the subject of turkey. We have some great options for you here, starting with our Journeys of Paul in Turkey Land Tour. This is that Turkey-only tour that David was mentioning. This is an 11-day program visiting all of the highlights of Turkey where Apostle Paul spent most of his time. Of course, you'll visit Cappadocia. Like David said, there's an optional hot air balloon ride that you'll be able to partake in there. You'll also visit Ephesus and see the amazing architecture and the history that it has to offer there. And also, our next program for Turkey, back for 2026 by popular demand, is our ever so popular 7 Churches of the Revelation tour. This is a transformative journey to the 7 churches of the Revelation, where you'll explore ancient biblical sites, again, like Ephesus, Smyrna, Pergamum, and walking in the footsteps of early Christians and gaining deep insights into the history and the messages of the book of the Revelation. Now, let's head south here.
Does that one visit the Trojan horse too?
The Journeys of Paul in Turkey program, you get to go into Troy, and you also get to do like a scenic cruise through the Dardanelles back at the end of the tour to Istanbul, kind of doing a full circle kind of around Turkey. So
what do they say? Men always think about the Roman Empire. Well, not all men, because I like to think about the ancient Grecian and all of that stuff too. So, Bethany.
All right, so heading south, as John said, you can travel down to Africa and do an amazing biblical tour to see the splendors of Egypt. So our Egypt program is 11 days and starts at $4,998 per person with air from New York. You're going to get to visit Mount Sinai, where Moses received the 10 Commandments. You'll get to see the Red Sea, where the Israelites crossed to escape Pharaoh. And you'll also enjoy a 3-night Nile cruise from Aswan to Luxor. During the cruise, you get to see amazing sights like the Temple of Philae in the middle of the Nile. You also have the unique opportunity to visit with Nubian communities near Aswan and learn about this unique way of life that is still continuing very much the same thousands of years later. As you get further down the Nile, you're also going to see the amazing temples of Luxor and Karnak, as well as the valleys of the kings and queens. You can also add on a 3-day extension to travel over to Jordan and visit Petra and the Dead Sea. And don't forget, we have returned to the Holy Land. We have had 3 groups visiting recently in really the last 30 days. And our team member, Salma, has recently also been exploring some Holy Land sites, and we've been sharing her updates in our Facebook group. So if you haven't joined, complete your training and access our exclusive content first before it goes to our regular Facebook page. So for anyone who hasn't seen it yet, here is Salma's report from the Holy Land.
Good morning, this is Salma, and guess where I am today? Actually, I'm standing right at the borders between Lebanon and Israel. I'm going to take you to spend the day with me, starting from the Golan Heights down to Tiberias, then to Jerusalem. I want to show you a lot of sites I'm sure you have missed for the past 15 months, and I want to show you too the daily life of the Palestinians and Israelis and how is the situation now in the Holy Land. Let's go. First view I want to show you is the Mediterranean Sea in the background and the Golan Heights area over here. Look how beautiful the scenery is from here, and I'm sure for a lot of you missed this place, so you have to start thinking about it to plan your tour and come and stand here to take your picture with this beautiful scenery. Our second stop of the day, it's one of my favorite places actually, and it's called Tel Dan. Come with me, let me show you around.
started from the Golan Heights at the borders, as I showed you before. After that, we went to Tel Dan, and now we are in Caesarea Philippi. And it's almost midday, and I've seen a lot of locals